What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel, Comics and Reactions. Today, man, we're talking about absolute Martian Manhunter. Now, I'm not too familiar with him, but I gotta say, this story, the illustrations, I had to read this a couple times before I even made this video just to make sure that I'm on the right page, all right? Because this one definitely threw me for a loop. Opening panel, all right? I'm gonna spoil something, so if you haven't already, go read it, all right? Then come back to this video, but opening panel, you see an explosion. You're like, okay, I'm expecting the next one for them to be bonded together semi soon, right? But that doesn't happen. So, opening panel explosion, then you see him in the doctor's office, all right? And the doctor's like, somehow you only have a few minor injuries. So I'm like, okay, maybe they're bonded, right? And that's what protects them. Doctor's like, you only have a few minor injuries. You're pretty much good, all right? And as he's in the doctor's office, he he lights a cigarette. All right, the doctor's office is in the hospital. Doctor's like, "Why are you smoking in the hospital?" He's like, "Everyone else is smoking, right? Except they're not." What's happened is after the explosion, now he's seeing these trippy colors. So exactly what you see on the cover right here is going to be the illustrations throughout the whole first issue. And I imagine probably the next 3 to 4 issues until we figure out what's kind of going on between the explosion and what happened. But anyways, back to the story. So doctor's like, all right, get out of my office, stop smoking, go see your wife, she's waiting down for you, right? Goes to see his wife. His wife is like, I was worried about you. He's like, well, I'm going back to work. She's like, we almost lost you. What do you mean you're going back to work? Well, I got work to do, right? Still continuing to smoke and still seeing these trippy colors right here coming out of everybody's ear, their face, and everything else. And she's like, well, go into the FBI, right, where he works, and see what they say. So he goes in there. Once again, you see colors everywhere. And they're like, hey, you got to take 2 weeks off. He's like, the doctor said I was fine, right? A few minor injuries. So now the FBI is kind of they're in a pickle, right? Because they're like, we don't have a big budget, right? But you also were in an explosion, which could have been related to a case you were working on. All right, I guess if you say you're fine, fine. You can work. All right, you don't have to take your 2 weeks off. So that right there I found shocking, to be honest with you. But then as he's leaving, his boss says, hey, I better not see you near that coffee shop. That's Newell's case. Don't be around it, all right? You're a witness. You're not an investigator. So now, you tell somebody no, they're either going to listen or they're going to rebel against you, right? And what does he do? He's going to rebel, right? So now he's searching for clues because obviously, man, if you just got blown up somewhere, you want to figure out, okay, what happened? Did I mess up? Was somebody out there? What was going on with them? And he starts to question, the mother, friends, neighbors, so on and so forth. And the colors keep getting worse. And as the colors get worse, he keeps asking himself these random questions. Why do these people do this? And why do these people do this? And I mean, this is just, it's going non-stop in his head the whole time. And then he leaves the FBI office, right? And then he goes to investigate a little bit, comes home. His wife asks how he's doing. He's like, I'm fine, right? The typical male response, even though internally he's going crazy because, like I said before, when you're seeing nothing but these bright kind of LSD colors, something's up, right? No matter how strong you are mentally, if you didn't choose to see those colors, it's gonna mess with your head, right? Then his wife was like, okay, well, no vacation, at least go see your son. He's up in his room. And this is where things get interesting, right? Because he's looking at his son, and his son's, making some figurines, and he sees his son Tyler and his mom in the figurines. He's like, where am I? And as he looks at himself, he sees himself as a Martian. And this is where things kind of go, they start to spiral out of control a little bit, right? But then he goes to see another doctor, right? Special Agent Nelson. And Nelson's like, okay, everything still looks normal. No sign of concussion, no hemorrhage. I'll order some imaging to be sure you look fine to me. It's probably just stress. And Turner's like, man, I cannot keep this up. All I'm seeing is just colors, right? Colors and smoke. And then he goes on to visit Mike Miller's mother's house. Now, Mike Miller is the one who did the bombing in that building he was in. And she goes on to say, he was a good boy. He visited me every Sunday, sometimes 3 times a week. I don't know why he would have done this. Now, what's going to be interesting to see is Mike Miller's backstory if we get into that in the next issue, but let's keep it going. So with all this going on, man, the smoke was just everywhere, right? And he's like, I have to get out of here. I have to clear my head. And as he's walking, right, leaving Mike Miller's mother's house, he's seeing smoke everywhere, having flashbacks, and he's confused because it's like, okay, I'm seeing smoke everywhere, but nobody else is. What is going on, right? He's looking for a place to just sit, rest, get his head straight. But this is the game changer right here. He hears a voice, all right, Martian Vision. He's like, who's talking? Who is that? The Martian or the voice is like, I'm talking. It's me. You, me, we are talking. All right. And then he has a flashback to his wife saying, it's a miracle you survived. But then the voice says, it's not a miracle. It was me. So he's like, okay, if you're the reason I survived, all right, who are you? What are you? And the voice says, now you through the smoke, remember, look, it's a green voice. And he says, we're the Martian. Boom, 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 boom. Like I said, very trippy, very good read. Definitely kept my interest. I love the illustration. I definitely kind of painted everything into a good picture from beginning to end, right? With the bombing taking place. I mean, kept me on my toes. I'm excited to see issue number 2. We find out more about Mike Miller. Does the smoke get worse? Does it get better? Does the doctors find something? Right? Do they bond? Right? A little symbiote bond. Can't wait to see what happens. I hope you guys have enjoyed the video. Stay tuned. More content coming soon. I'll catch you guys on the next one.